This is Daf Yomi Yerushalmi Terumos. In the article Oz V'Had edition, we're at the two dots on Daf Chav Gimel Amud Aleph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lines down. Kol min chitin echad. And in the Vilna, Sheben Gimel Amud Aleph. Kol min chitin echad. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines down, middle of the line. Kol min chitin, no two dots. And this is a quote for this actually is a header, even though in the Vilna it does not appear as a header. Kol min chitin echad is a header from the Mishnah. I should mention that the war is still going on, and we lost significant casualties today. Yerushalmi Terumos, we should be able to be zoich to see Yeshua's from the Chamas and the schools of our learning. So again, as I said, this is actually a header, and it's quote from the Mishnah, and it's telling us that kol min chitim echad, all types of wheat are all considered to be one type of species, and you can take from one type of wheat on another type of wheat. So what's the chiddush here? What are we trying to tell us? That afilu me'agron al shchimtis, from white wheat on red on brown wheat or red wheat. Smutis agron. So it's agdon. It's supposed to say agron, evidently. So the idea is that even though they look different, they're still coming chitin echadu. Then the kol min, the article again has a header, which I'm not sure. Yes, it's also in the Vilna, but again, the header doesn't appear here. The has a header, it doesn't have two dots. Kol mitein begogos udvela achas tor mizelzel, all types of figs, dates. Not figs, dried figs, dvela, pressed figs. Achas are one. The term is zelzeh, and you do truma from one or the other. Tani, tournament te'enim al grogos b'minyan. So you can take truma from te'enim, from figs, which are moist figs, and grogros by count. Okay, and this is actually a advantage for the Kohen, because the te'enim are bigger than grogos, which are tainim which were shriveled up from drying. I'm not so sure though that that's the issue here, because there is an advantage in the also in the dry figs, because they'll last longer. So it's probably just a numbers thing, because the dried fig is the same as the moist fig, except for the moisture, and the Shumas Maisis comes from the substance, not from the moisture. So I don't know if we have to come on to the fact that it's an advantage for the Kohen. Avolo tainim grogros mida. You can't go by measure, because they're going to have less moist dates than dry dates. You go by measure, because more dry dates are squeezed into an area, can be squeezed into area, and not just squeezed. Also, it weighs less because there's no moisture. So therefore, you can't go by weight or by volume. So therefore, you have to do by count, as he said. And also conversely, I skipped the line. Sorry. Tani Yatomi Hatainim al Grogos B'minyan Grogos ala Ta'enim B'mida. Vice versa, Grogros al Ta'enim, you want to go from dry figs on moist figs, you have to go by measure. And this is going to be again advantage to the Kohen, because in Midah, in volume, obviously there are going to be more dried figs per cubic centimeter, or whatever it is, per liter, than there are going to be moist figs. only works for Trumas, not for Meisers, because Meisers have to be, Trumas are approximate. Meisers have to be precise. So if by Meiser, this is not going to fly. It seems that it would only going to work by Truma and Trumas Meiser and Truma Gedola. So Trumas Meiser, I believe there's a Hekesh to Truma Gedola that yes, the Kavnaka brings down that She'ain. No, on the contrary. He said Tosefta says that Kavnaka says Trumas Meiser because by Truma Gedola you're not Torim b'mida mishkol v'minyan, which is interesting. So Kavnaka is saying that these are precise measures. And that's why it applies to Trumas Meiser, which is supposed to be done by precise measure. But I don't know if that's actually the case. No, so the Maraf Fulda brings down the Chen Term Grogas Altein B'Mida, the dry on fresh by measure. Mida here it explains to be volume, v'udim mishkos by weight. Pisharbe grogros nichlase b'mida mishkol mitainim, because you get more grogros than tainim in the same volume or the same weight. Avalo b'minyan, but not by count. Pishaz mapse kohen, because the kohen is going to lose. Nitik shehechi trom b'mida harei marbu b'maisrus. V'mar maisrus ma'isr mekukolim. How is going to work? Because you're being marbu b'maisrus, and maisrus have to be precise. It's a shas menachos. So Gemara menachos Daf Nun Daled says the Torim b'ayin yafu abitrumas meiser Kabbalah ben Gimel. So not like the Kabanaki says here, that it's true when you're talking about even trumas meiser, because trumas meiser can be b'ayin yafu, as Gemara says in menachos. It's a papella on the Kabanaki that he does. He goes against that, such because he quotes the Rav Fulda several times after this. Okay, so in any event, so again, term tame al grogos minyan, grogos al tainim b'mida, avolo tainim al grogos mida, but not moist figs on dry figs by measure, because then you're causing a loss of coin. V'lo grogos al tainim, and not grogos and not dried figs on fresh figs, b'minyan by count. Because again, you must see the coin. And Shimon Gamliel, Omer, Shimon Gamliel says, Salei teinim ugrogros min echad hein. Okay, it's kind of a cryptic statement. The Gemara is going to explain later on. Baskets of figs and dry figs are one min. The Torah Masim Zelzeh can take Shumas and from one on the other. Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Yossi said, Abba, that's Rabbi Yossi, notel, Eser grogros min muktzeh. He would take 10 grogros, which are dried figs, from the muktzeh, from the place where they were dried. Al tishim te'enim, muktzeh comes from the very fact that we put te'enim away when they're drying, and they're called muktzeh for Shabbos. That's where the term comes from. Al tishim te'enim shabbat on 90 fresh figs in the in the basket. So the Rabbi Yossi evidently argues on the Tanakama and holds that you take truma from grogros, even from grogros onto einim, by count. And even though they become shriveled up, that doesn't bother us. It's still considered to be a 1-to-1 ratio. Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba now comes to explain Rosh Gamliel. Rabbi Yirmiyah Abba Savar Meimar. He, not sure bar Abba is in the, might just be in the Kavanaki. So in any event, he understood that Rabbi Gamliel was saying, you see that which is shriveled up as if it is bloated. And therefore you would take the baskets as they are. And even though the basket of grogros is smaller and the baskets of figs are bigger, that's the way to do it, because we see the grogros as if they are bloated as they were previously. And obviously Rosh Gamliel is going like Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Yossi in this respect. Okay, that you go according to count, whether it's kula, whether it's a chumrah. Rabbi Yonah and Rabbi Yossi Tarben Ormin, that Rabbi Yonah and Rabbi Yossi both said they're Amoraim, not the Tana Rabbi Yossi, the Amor Rabbi Yossi. They both said, the derech hatapuach litzmoch, that which is bloated shrivels. Vein derech hatzamuk litmoch, whereas that which is shriveled does not then become bloated again. So so therefore you have to take off by midah, by measure, because and not by 1-to-1 proportion, because you can't see the dried figs as if they're bloated. The nasib salam ravavaya b'teinaya, and as a result, the Rishonim holds that if you want to take from baskets of grogros on baskets of figs, which is then you have to take larger baskets full of the dried figs, in order that he should be meiser according to Midah, not according to Midah. So there, it's a different. They argue in the Pshat Meshugim Gamliel, and they say Shugim holds that Sahli Tainim Grogros mean Echad. Yes, they're one min, but it can't be the same size sal, because it's going to go to Midah. So therefore, you have to take the grogros in a larger sal than the sal of te'anim, and that way you're going to get a proper midah. Yeah. Amalon Rabbi Acha Kain Rabbi Ila Rabbi Chon have a noiba. So Rabbi La Rebbe had the custom to take off the meiser accordingly. I see that in the art scroll, and probably in the Vilna as well. It's Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yossi, not Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Yossi. Yeah, so I'm not sure where the Rosh Hashanah says that it's supposed to be Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Yossi. I'm not sure where the Rosh Hashanah got that from. The Gra has changes the girsa dramatically here, and it comes out very, very different. I'm not going to get into it, but it's a totally different shot in what we just read about samuk kilu. He says we do say samuk kilu tafach. So what I read in the Kavanaki is the that's like the Gemara, and the Gra's pshat is different. I wonder what the Rebaz says. He probably also says like the Gra. Yeah, he also changed on the Girsa here. Okay, we're not going to do that. The Rashi explains that the sal hagadol shel grogros you have to have a larger sal of grogros that's large as 9 salim of te'anim. Okay, which is of course the pshat which the Kavanaki and the Pashup pshat Gemara is going with. Okay. So here it says in the art scroll in the Bible, it says Rabbi Ila Rabbi Chon Have Ba. So that not like the common record is when it says throws in the word have a nohig ba, as I read it before. The word nohig he throws in, and I don't see it in the Rosh Civilio, but perhaps somebody else brings that down. But in any event, that is the pshat. Evidently, that uh, this Marav Fuller gives a different pshat here. Not which would not go with the noig and the Pnei Moshe also not. So I wonder where they came from. I have to tell you, the Kabanoki is very clean, but the other Meforshim here said take it with a the way they learn Amar Kain Rabbi Ila Rabchon Havaba is going on the next sugya, and he is saying that Rabbi Achar and Rabbi Ila, the Rabbi Achar told them, Rabbi Yossi, that Rabbi Ila had a similar question of about derech hatuvah litzvah ein derech hatzamuk litvoach, and it concerned the following brisa, Tamatznina, which is actually a Mishnah in Taros Gimel Perek Gimel Mishnah Dalet. Kibetza ochli shnichim b'chama v'nismatu. You have a kibetza of food which you left in the sun and it's shriveled. Chen gazayitz in avail, which so less than the shear, which can be matame other foods. V'chein kazayis min avela, and so to kazayis min avela, which is the shear of the avela to be matame, uchadosh min asheretz, and the shear of a lentil from the asheretz, which is its shear to be matame, kazayis pigo, kazayis noitzer, kazayis chaleb. All these are shurim which have of these various different isurim. Hare elu torim. Say they are tor. So obviously, chaleb pigo nosar tame means you would say it's potter. So from here it sounds like even if once they're in its stomach, they can't be tofech again. The Sefer, however, that says, as Pnei Moshe brings down, if you left in the rain and they got bloated again, it's a main. Right? So, if that's the case, so we do look at the shriveled up as if it is bloated. So we just said according to Rabbi Yonah Rabbi Yossi, and the Pnei Moshe goes on and gives a different shot. But the simple shot of the Gemara is that we just saw that Rabbi Yonah and Rabbi Yossi are say that ein derech hatzamuk litfach. But you see, there is derech hatzamuk litfach. The Ramoy Omre, and the Rabbanan of the south said that v'hushiyach zayis meikaro, and it had to be that was initially a kazayis to begin with. In other words, shriveled less than a kazayis, and then came back to a kazayis. And coming as to tell us that ain dichoy be surin. So that is, in other words, the fact they got smaller temporarily doesn't matter. But it was less than kazayis to begin with. And then it got bloated to more than kazayis. It never was a kazayis. It got bloated more than kazayis. That's not considered. It would not be chayiv. It would not be tummy, etc. Because it has to start off initially in its original state as kazayis. Then if it goes down, it comes back. It's okay. If it didn't start off as kazayis, even when it goes down, when it goes up, that doesn't count. So here, Rabbi Yochanan, that's according to the Ramoy, the Rabbanan of the south. Yochanan Shimon Lakish Tarbein Omin Alpha Pisha and Kazayis Mei Koro. Even though it was not a Kazayis to begin with, if it's Tafach, then it does become actually Now with Basher Usham, that's more like a Zayis at the end. So you're going to be Chayev, or it's going to be Tameh, or more like a Beitza, it's going to be Tameh, etc. So this seems to be that, according to the Girsa of, if you learn as a separate sugya, Talmud Tninon, so then it's not going back. When Amar and Rabbi Yacha can Rabbi Chana have a noigba, so you could say that it's ain't derech hatzamach litfach, and even though it does when it's in the rain, that's not the derech, and therefore this price is not a contradiction to Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Yossi. But if you learn that Amar Rabbi Yacha can Rabbi Ila Rabchon Havaba, he discussed it based on this brisa. So it sounds like they're saying to that Rabbi Yacha is saying to Rabbi Yonah and Rabbi Yossi. I don't think so. We see here that something which is shriveled it can be bloated again, and therefore you have to take into account possibly that it's going to become bloated again. I think that the Moshe learns question Rabbi Yirmiyah. He says that I'm a commotion. Rabbi Yirmiyah is saying that since at the time we are, it's not going like it is going like Rabbi Yonah and Rabbi Yossi. It's not going like Rabbi Yirmiyah, because at the time that actually it is at the time by Yerushalmi that it is nitzamek, so we measure according to how it's nitzamek, and that is like Rabbi Yonah and Rabbi Yossi, and not like the Rabbi Yirmiyah. So according to that, when it says Havaba, it means that he explained that there's a raya from this brisa. Rabbi Ila, your Rebbe is being a raya from this that we go by Sherosham, and that's and not like Rabbi Yirmiyah, who said we have to look at it as if it's bloated. Which makes sense. Sounds to the Marav Fulda that he says that also he holds that the sugya stops after Amar Rabbi Ila Rabbi Ila Rabchon Hava means he had the same Shakla Bataria, but not that he asked the question or he discussed it from the following brisa. Okay. I think that brings us to the end of today, because that brings us to the Talmud Tznina, which is similar to Sugya, but it's already, it's a continuation of Sugya, but it's already a Chav Dalam now, so we'll stop here for today.